Okay, how do you weight classes work in boxing? And so when I say I am in this weight class or something like that, what does that mean? Well, it's a very transparent sport when it comes to how much one weighs. So how tall am I? I'll start with that one. I am approximately 5'7.5" inches. I've continued to grow so 5'7.5". I round down on my driver's license because sometimes I don't have the best posture, so it might look like I'm 5'7" even though I'm taller. So that's my height, and now let's get to weight. So weight classes. What color should I do? I was going to do green, but in this lighting, it doesn't show up great. Let's do it in red. Okay, weight. Classes. And I'm going to include, so the weights classes, weights that I'm going to cover here are as set for the 2020 Summer Olympic Games for female boxing, the sport of female boxing. And so to understand the weight classes, first off, I'm going to, because in international competition, kilograms are typically used. So the conversion factor is 1 kilogram, abbreviated kg, is equal to approximately equal to 2.2 pounds. I'm using this conversion factor because it's really like 2.2 something. And so this gets me a little bit under the upper limit for the weight class, which is perfect because if I aim for this and I am exactly this conversion factor for my weight at the top of the weight class, that means I can still fight, versus if I go with the exact conversion and hit that limit, I might not be able to fight if I'm off by like point some of a pound, or not a pound, a kilogram. So I would say it's a built-in safety for myself to make sure I am the correct weight for my match, or yeah. And so boxing is interesting. You get weighed before your matches, and so I'd say boxing has been really great in my life for helping me maintain weight. If I'm in a longer term boxing mindset, as I've kind of entered into, then the goal is weight gain, weight reduction, and weight maintenance, and evening out anything that might happen in the weight maintenance, because I need to keep my oscillations and how much I go up and down in weight, even when on a period and off a period, stuff like that. It needs to be contained within my weight class. So it becomes a part of why I'm actually focusing on this is my Ireland heritage travel, as in addition to boxing, is how what are my adaptations that I can have for being on my period to minimize both weight and activity level / energy level kind of hits from when I'm on my period, or I'm on PMS, when I'm on PMS. So my weight class, we're going to get to it second. We're going to start with the weight class below mine because this matters. So the weight class below mine is called featherweight. And that weight limit, it is 57 kilograms. And that comes out to, with this conversion factor, approximately 125.4 pounds. Ooh. This is pounds. And this is kilograms. Yeah, so this is the featherweight, and this is the upper limit of the featherweight weight class. And I'm going to give you a super random trivia fact. If you've been bungee jumping, or you go bungee jumping or anything like that, they write a big number on your hand before you jump. And so I got my number, can't remember if it was right or not, but it was 62. That was when I was in Africa. My weight has fluctuated. So they do something like this and then a line under it. So that's how much I weighed when I went bungee jumping. I was 62 pounds, and then they put it on my hand. They did that for everybody. I also, not all places do this, but mine did, was they also wrote what number jumper I was for the day. And so I was the 12th jumper of the day, so I got a J12. Not everybody jumps. Some people do like swings and stuff like that, which is not a bungee jump. So that's a super random factoid if you're interested. But if you've ever seen a video or photos, like I've posted photos on Facebook. I need to get around to figuring out how to convert the file for my video. But if you see this on a person's hand, it's their weight in kilograms. Fun fact. And so back to this. So featherweight is the weight class below mine. My weight class is lightweight. And the upper limit of my weight class, it's not a very big range. It's really hard on the maintenance side. Is 60 kilograms, which comes out to approximately 132.2 pounds. And I'm going to do the one that's heavier than my weight class, which is called welterweight. And this weight class, it's a much bigger gap, is 69 kilograms. And part of the motivation for staying in the lightweight is this big gap in weight, and I'll explain why. And so this comes out to approximately 151.8 pounds. And so how a weight class works is, let's say I'm 130 pounds at weigh-in at the start of a match. I'm fighting in lightweight, that's perfect. If I am 132.3 pounds, I cannot fight my match because I am too heavy. I cannot be over my weight limit. But how low can I go? I can go as low as the upper limit of the weight class before me. So that means when I fight in my welterweight weight class, I weigh between, oh, that's bad. Sorry. I have to weigh between 125.4 pounds and 132.2 pounds. And so maintenance is really key. This is not a big range. That's not even 7 pounds. And so especially for something like being on my period where I have a bunch of water retention or something like that, there's sometimes dehydration or eating foods that don't have as high of salt content comes into play when trying to maintain this, especially if fighting in something that has, like, you'll be fighting like a tournament or something like that where you have matches each day, then this is something, this weight range, I have to be able to stay within over a multi-day period. And so I have found with training, something that works for me is to stay within this on multi-month. I've done it for multiple years, like without going outside of this, and it's hard. And so did I really do multiple? Yeah, I did. I would say multiple years within this weight class, I might have dipped below this a little bit, which, depending on how professional of an athlete or boxer you are, most of the time you cannot actually fight up in weight. So like if I weighed 130 pounds, I couldn't fight as a welterweight unless I was a professional and established boxer. As an amateur, I couldn't do that, and it's for the safety of the boxer. Like, you don't want someone who's 126 pounds fighting against someone who's 150 pounds. Like, it's a 24-pound difference. So and that might also correspond to height differences and stuff like that. And so it's the weight classes are designed with safety and protection of the athletes in mind. And so multiple months is fairly easy. Multiple years starts to get hard, and I start to have little fluctuations. And so that's actually something, yeah, I would say that's more accurate because of the period thing, or I can kind of, I would stay closer to the featherweight and then kind of go up closer to this. I can stay pretty well below 130, but I might have dipped below the 125 a few times and kind of responding to period weight gain and stuff like that. So thinking about that, I take that back. It's been multiple months. I can maintain this fairly easily. Multiple years is a new frontier for me, maintaining this for that long and staying in boxing shape. That's also an endurance feat for a longer term goal. And so, yeah, anything else? So my weight range, maximum weight 132.2. I give myself a little safety by using this conversion factor. And then this is, I need to be above 125.4. And I'd say that's, yeah, just the best practice of mine. And in general. And then, yeah, and so, and this big of difference, that's almost 20 pounds different between the lightweight and the welterweight category. So it would, at least from my vantage point, maybe I'll be, I don't know, but it would be kind of suck potentially to be overweight by 1 pound and then have to fight up against people who are 18 pounds heavier than you. Maybe not. Throw some, it depends on the strength of the boxer. Professionals are allowed to do that. I definitely classify myself as amateur at this point in time. But that's a little bit about how weight classes work in female boxing, using, for example, the 2020 Summer Olympics weight classes for female boxing as my example that I walked through. And then this fun bungee jumping trivia factoid, that's what the number means when it's written on your hand and you bungee jump. Maybe that'll change in the future, but that's how it was when I did it in 2012.